on the last day, I had a dream. I was in an airport, very beautiful airport. It had so much light and it was in the night. And I saw myself lifting a plane. There is a purpose for everyone. You are not meant to do everything. Mommy Anike is this woman that is like our neighbor. She sells stuff. And then I noticed there's something about her. Anytime you go to her shop to buy something, she's always reading a Bible. Immediately I sat down. She was talking to my mom and she said, why don't you allow your daughter become a flight attendant? I mean, she has the body for it. I was like, what? Oh my God. I told God, I said, God, let your will be done. If you want me to become a nurse, so be it. It's fine. I'm gonna just drop her from being this flight attendant stuff. I just saw the plane, and immediately I saw the plane, I just remembered my dream, and I started to tell my brother, hey bro, I know what I want to become. I was so excited because that dream just came back to me, and I just realized that I had a dream. I wanted to be a pilot. Happy New Year, guys. Welcome back again to another Talkably session. My name is Blessing, and today on this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my peculiar story of how I became a flight attendant. I say peculiar story because I really believe my story is very peculiar. Don't worry, at the end of this video, you are going to discover that this story is very peculiar. And I also subtitled this as Journey of Purpose. That's to let you know that this video is not just for people that are aspiring to become a flight attendant. This is really a journey of purpose. And even if you're not aspiring to become a flight attendant, by watching this video, I know that you're going to learn one or two. So I'm just going to encourage you to open up your heart. So let's get right into the video. There are major professions kids want to become. Profession like doctor, nurses, banker, even piloting. All right. And so for me, when I was little, I can remember one time I saw a plane and I just said, okay, I want to become a pilot. And I'll never forget the time I presented this to my mom, and she was like, becoming a pilot is actually very expensive. But she said something. She said, don't worry, when we get to that phase, we're going to cross it. And that passed away. I moved to Lagos. I forgot about that dream, that aspiration to become a pilot. When I was in secondary school, it seemed as if everybody had figured out their life, like everybody know what they want to become. But for me, I was clueless of what I wanted to become. And it's not like I was not smart. I was very smart. I was book smart. But it's just the fact that since I was little, I've always questioned this particular cycle where, you know, after we are done with primary school, we go into secondary school. After we're done with junior secondary school, we go into senior secondary school. After we're done with senior secondary school, next thing is go to university, do your NYC, serve, and then start making money, and then get married, give birth to children that repeat that same cycle. I started to question, why is it that we have to do this particular pattern? And I believe that it was a boring life. And so everybody had what they wanted to become. I had friends that wanted to become a doctor, nurse, lawyers, and it seemed so great. But for me, I was totally uninterested in all of that, and I was clueless of what I want to become. And you know, life continued, and I noticed something. I was in science class at that time, and I was very good at speaking, to the extent that when it comes to debate in press club, I was the number one. And I'll never forget Mr. Ray. That was one of our secondary school teacher. He once looked at me and he said, what are you doing in science class? He said, oh, such a waste, that I shouldn't be in science class, stuff like that. And so I was clueless of what I would become, and I got to the point where I was to write my JAMB, and that was when it really dawned on me that I don't know what I want to become. I spent about a month surfing the net, checking different courses, checking the ones that can even fit into me, and I'm like, none of these courses, I don't like any of them. None of them feels like they are going to fulfill me and all of that. So I think back then I was already thinking I was just going to industrial chemistry or so, because I actually liked chemistry. I did well in chemistry. And so I remember one particular day, I went to meet Mommy Anike. So Mommy Anike is this woman that is like our neighbor. She sells stuff. And then I noticed there's something about her. Anytime you go to her shop to buy something, she's always reading a Bible. You know, I talked to her through the window. She's always reading a Bible. And so this particular day I went to her shop, and I don't know, for some weird reason, I told her, I said, I feel very clueless of what I want to become. I don't know what I want to become. I'm about to fill my JAMB. So I just shared it all with her, and she said to me, she said, okay, you know what you're going to do? Go and fast for 3 days and pray and ask the Lord to tell you what you should become. And whatever the Lord shows you, probably in your dream, and then I should come back and tell her. And so I took it very serious. I went into a fast. I went into prayers for 3 days. And on the last day, I had a dream. I was in an airport, like very beautiful airport. It had so much light and it was in the night, and I saw myself lifting a plane. And so I woke up and I was like, yes, that's it. I can become a pilot. And all that aspiration of becoming a flight attendant came back to me. And so I went back, I told her that this is what I saw, and she just laughed about it. She didn't really make much of comments, but I felt discouraged because looking at it again, this does not look like something that can be achieved. But thinking about it again, this was the only thing that I've thought about that I could do, and I felt joy and I felt like I'm going to be fulfilled. Anyways, that aside, when I thought about it, I needed to still fill my form for my jam. So I picked a course, forgot about that dream, forgot about every of those things. So when I was done with secondary school, I think I filled in industrial chemistry. I didn't get admission. Did I get admission in my first try? Well, I became very sick when I was done with my secondary school. I was in Lagos, and so because I was sick, I had to move to Zaria. My mom based in Zaria. She's a nurse, and so I had to move to Zaria so that I can get myself properly treated under her observation. So I went to Zaria. I was sick unto death. So I went to Zaria, and we're having this hospital visit. Very, very sick. I mean, I was so sick. This is not the video where I'm going to share the testimony of how God healed me. I mean, the devil wanted me dead. I would not be sitting down here and talking, but then the Lord intervened. And then I went to Zaria during one of all those hospital visits concerning my health. As we're coming back, we passed in front of aviation school. All right, so I don't know if anybody know how aviation school is built. That's Nigerian College of Aviation Technology in Zaria. Putting a picture here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we passed right in front of the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology. I was inside all these motorway, these buses, and I just saw the plane, and immediately I saw the plane, I just remembered my dream, and I started to tell my brother, hey bro, I know what I want to become. I was so excited because that dream just came back to me, and I just realized that I had a dream. I wanted to be a pilot. And when we got home, I told my mom, I told my brother, all of that, and my mom was like, the money is too expensive. We browsed about it. That was something we could not afford at that time. So we're like, no, it's no way. And so I just decided to check the net more. Me and my brother were just surfing the net on what other courses I can take if I cannot take the piloting. And then I saw become flight attendant, and I was like, wow, that's cool. I can do it. I can do it for a while. And then when I gather enough money, I'm just gonna go into my piloting and stuff like that. So come on, that night I was so excited because I felt like this is what I'm going to do, the flight attendant course. And so me and my brother, after surfing the net, I presented it to my mom and told her that, okay, this is what I want to do, flight attendant. And that's where this battle began. My mom was like, no way, lie, will you become a flight attendant? And she started to say things like, flight attendants are prostitute. And as at that time, my mom wanted me to be a nurse because she is a nurse. And when it comes to nursing, there's a lot of security when it comes to the job, and it looks like that part is much more promising than becoming a flight attendant. And she was like, they are prostitute. She just said a lot of things, and I understand her quite all right, because a lot of people have misconceptions about flight attendant. People assume things. There's a lot of misconception basically. So I told her, and she was like, no way are you gonna do this, not under my watch. And I was like, no, I don't want to become a nurse. I mean, nursing, being in the medical field was one of the least favorite. I wonder how people back then, I used to wonder how people were gonna be a doctor, because I don't like hospital. I don't like the smell of hospital. I feel like it's so boring to work there. And let me say this is my own personal opinion. I respect doctors. If God has called you into that part, that is fine. But for me, it was not resonating. Saying that my mom is a nurse, my dad is a lab scientist, and I feel like in my family we have a lot of people in the medical line, and I was not interested in becoming any of that. And so she was like, you become a nurse? I said, no, I'm going to become a flight attendant. And we had this back and forth, no jokes. We had this back and forth for like 2 to 3 months. We were going up, become a nurse. No, I will not become a nurse. She was, reporting me to people. People were calling me, and nobody supported me becoming this except my brother. That was the one that we're surfing the net together. I was like, oh yeah, it's cool, anything you want to become, he's just a cool guy. But nobody supported me. So it seems like I was going to rebel against my mom, not become this. And the truth is that I need her if I want to become a flight attendant, because at that age I am, where am I going to see that amount of money to pay for my fee? And I was like, oh my gosh. So we had this back and forth, and I remember that I ended up signing up to become a nurse and buy the application form. Even my university self, I think I had admission, but I didn't tell anybody. It was in my portal because I did not want to go to the university and I did not even want the nursing. So that was it. We're still having this back and forth, and I got into depression. I was so depressed. It was something that consumes my heart. I really wanted to do it. And so one day I went to church. I remember this particular Sunday when we got to church, I was so sad. I don't know, for some weird reason I was so sad, so quiet, and I sat down in church. I cried like a day before, so much. I cried, and I think it was still on this issue because I really wanted to become a flight attendant. My convictions was so strong, and then I cried so much. And that day I went to church. I was really sober, and I remember I just prayed to God. They were worshiping. Nobody was asking us to pray this prayer point, but I just prayed to God, and I told God, I said, God, let your will be done. If you want me to become a nurse, so be it. It's fine. I'm gonna just drop out from being this flight attendant stuff and all of that. And so I said that prayer, and that particular day after church service, my mom was like, oh blessing, I'm not going home directly, I'm going to go and visit a friend. Her patients became a friend, and she just wanted to see them in the house. Then she said that would I like to follow her there. And let me tell you guys, on a normal good day, I'm not that kind of person that will follow my mom somewhere. I'm not that kind of, me and her, we butt head a lot. Like, I'm not that kind of person that'll just follow her and say, okay, let me follow you. But for some weird reason, I said, okay, no problem. And seeing that I'm down and we've been having this back and forth about this, I followed her there. We got there. She was talking with her friend. They were having their own discussions. That me, I was just there sitting down pressing my phone. And so at a point, I think we stayed there for so long. Then at a point, I wanted to drink water. So I told her, I was like, oh, I really want to drink water. And the woman directed me to the kitchen to just go and take water. And so as I stood up, I walked to go and take water, and I came back. Immediately, I sat down. She was talking to my mom, and she said, why don't you allow your daughter become a flight attendant? I mean, she has the body for it. I was like, what? Oh my God. I was suspecting like maybe there's a foul play. And when she said that, my mom was like, that's what she has been saying she wants to become, blah, 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 blah. So it turned out that that woman actually worked in aviation school. That's the Nigeria College of Aviation Technology, and she's an accountant. And so like she knows a lot about flight attendant. My mom was now telling her that, oh, that's what she wants to become. She has been saying it. We're having this back and forth. I want her to be a nurse. Flight attendant, they are this, they are that. And that's when the woman set the record straight. The woman was like, that is not true. There is a lot of career path in becoming a flight attendant. She just said a lot of things to my mom that was very convincing. And she even told my mom that she was going to buy me the form the following day, which is Monday. And once she goes to her office, she's buying me the form and becoming a flight attendant. And I mean, guys, so we got home. I was so stunned. I was like, what's going on? And then my mom woke me up in the middle of the night and asked me to tell her the truth. Did I connive with that woman for that woman to come and try to convince her? I'm like, I don't know her from anywhere. That was the first time me seeing her. Even you, that's the first time you're going to her house. So there is no way I'm going to I would have been able to contact her. So my mom was really surprised. And so that was how the following day the woman got me the form. And that was how I applied to become a flight attendant. The story did not even end there. I got the form for it. I applied and I waited for about 2 months. They did not call me. I was waiting. They did not call me. So I just decided I was going to move to Lagos, and probably I wanted to relocate because I did not like Zaria. I was not fitting in Zaria. So I moved to Lagos and I took a train from Zaria to Lagos. Guys, guess what? I spent 3 days on the road, and immediately I was entering Lagos, they sent me a message from the school that you've been invited for your exam. So I had to come back the following week, back to Zaria, the same route I came. I had to come back to Zaria the following week. And so the story did not even end there. I went for my exams in my aviation school. I passed. We passed. And then they selected about 25 of us, and they said that they are going to award this admission to the first 20 people to pay their school fees. And guys, guess what? As at that time, the school fees was around 400,000 naira. That time, me and my mom was really, really broke. I don't want to go into details of how broke, but we could not even feed ourselves conveniently. Now, we needed to raise 400,000. As at that time, 400,000 was a lot. It's not like now that, money is different. Like, I mean, as at that time, I think that's 5 years ago. That was 2019. Yeah, 2019, that was like 6 years ago. And so as at that time, 400,000 was like, let me say like 2 million now. That's how 400,000 was. And where am I going to get that money from? Because I applied in faith. I knew that the money is expensive, but I was like, I'm going to apply in faith, and I know that God is going to make a way, even where there seems to be no way. So I applied, and I was having sleepless nights. How am I going to pay these school fees? How am I going to pay these school fees? I remember trying to ask people. I tried to ask one of our pastors back then. I remember trying to ask people, and I was getting zero support. Nobody had the money to give to me. But then one particular day, My mom came back from work and just gave me a form. She paid my school fees, and she said she actually took a loan to pay my school fees. God bless my mom. I say a very big shout out to her. She has really been supportive for me becoming a flight attendant. She has really been supportive. So she paid my school fees, but then she made a statement. She told me that after paying this school fee, she's not going to pay for any other thing, like any other schooling. I should pick one. Either I go to the university, I go to school of nursing, or I do this. And I chose this, and I do not regret it for one day. Becoming a flight attendant. Becoming a flight attendant is not my purpose, because your work is not your purpose, all right, but it is in line with the path that God has put me. It is something that also aid my purpose. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. So it is in the will of God I had passed through that route of becoming a flight attendant, because right now I'm not even flying, but I was a flight attendant. I was able to establish many things. I can't even explain many things that God was able to do in my life by the reason of being a flight attendant. And currently I coach people to becoming a flight attendant. I coach them if they want to become a flight attendant, and I feel very fulfilled doing this. Having said all of this, here are some of the lessons I want you to pick from this. Number one, there is a purpose for everyone. You are not meant to do everything. You know, when I see people jumping on every opportunity, it is an indicator that this person does not know what their purpose is. You don't jump on everything. You don't become everything. There is something that God has ordained for you to become. There is a purpose for you. Even before you were formed in your mother womb, there is something that God wants you to become. The Bible says, I know the plan that I think towards you. They are plan of good and not of evil, to give you a hope and a future. There is a plan in the mind of God when God created you. I know that we all believe that God is our creator. God created you. God brought you to this earth, and God did not bring you to this earth for fun, just to come to the earth and just be somebody. There was a purpose. There was something in the mind of God when He created you. And so it is in your obligation that by partnering with God, you search out what that thing is, and then you walk in line to becoming it. There is this general pattern that people have conditioned themselves to doing. You know, this pattern of, when you're born, when you're of age, you go to your primary school. When you're done with primary school, go to your secondary school. When you're done with secondary school, next thing the university, next thing your NYC, next thing get a good paying job. After getting a good paying job, next thing is for you to get married. Next thing is for you to give birth to children that will continue that same pattern. You're made for more. You're made for more. There is something God has placed inside of you to help you. So I want to encourage everyone. One thing I really want you to pick out of this, especially if you're young and you're at that phase of your life that you're trying to figure out what you want to do, please take it to God in prayer and let the Lord guide you. I'm very young and I've not done so many things in my life. I've done just very little things, but all the little things I've done, I've seen results, all because I trust in God and I'm being guided by God. I'm not doing things by my own strength. I'm not doing things by my own knowledge. I did not create myself. I'm not on this earth for myself. I'm here to please the Lord. There is a purpose in the mind of God. So what I do is I partner with God. I go to Him. I ask Him, what do you want me doing per season? There is something in the mind of God, and I tell you, there is nobody that pray this prayer, God, what do you want me to do? Show me my purpose, that God never show up to show them what they should do. So if you feel like you're at that junction of your life that you're stranded, you don't know what you should do, go to God in prayer and let the Lord guide you. Like I said, it is beyond, this story is beyond just becoming a flight attendant. It is a journey of purpose, journey of how I became one. As at that time, I was not even close to God when I made all those prayer. God, show me what my purpose is. I was not really close to God, but as we're being taught, we know that there was a God, and so I prayed that prayer, and God answered it, and God made a way. God is faithful. God is faithful. I know that probably at that time when I was saying I did not know what I want to become, everybody feels like they have everything figured out, but I'm so grateful to God that I told this part. I do not regret it for one day. God has opened so much door for me as a reason of even becoming a flight attendant. If you want to become a flight attendant, like I said in my video earlier on, right now I do aviation coaching. If you want to become a flight attendant, I have a course for you. I have quite a number of courses. Number one is step-by-step guide to becoming a flight attendant. If you want to become a flight attendant, this is a course for you. I have another course which is how to get a job as a flight attendant. This one is for people that are already flight attendant and they are seeking to get a job, and this is also for people that are not in Nigeria and you're seeking to get a job. There is a step-by-step guide for you to get your job as a flight attendant. If you want to have a one-on-one session with me for me to coach you and you want to ask some personal question and all of that, you can also pay for that services. I'm going to be leaving the link in my description box. You can also pay for that. I also have my CV templates. All right, so if you are a flight attendant, you just need a quick CV template, I have it for sale also. Thank you guys for watching this video to the very end. See you in my next video. God bless you. And please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do well to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.